Passion our purpose, profit our pain. I don't want my name to ever be in vain. A life full of substance is the only thing that will remain the same. Millennial Thoughts. Welcome back to another podcast episode with your girl Alicia on Millennial Thoughts. Today I have some reoccurring special guests on today's episode. We'll be talking about relocating. I have Cat and Demarcus. So y'all can say what's up. Hey.
Hi everyone.
Hey yo, what's going on?
So I feel like I don't know, it could be new or not. I feel like y'all don't really need that introduction because I feel like y'all been on my podcast so many, but always new conversations. So I want to talk about relocating and how you all relocated from where you were to where you've been. So do y'all want to do ladies first? What we doing?
Ladies first.
Okay, Kat. So talk about where you moved to and from where.
Yeah, no, I moved from New York to Cali.
Like crazy.
Yeah, and we drove all the way here, which was even more crazy as both the person and I who moved here, which was a former classmate of mine, we decided to come with her car just because to make life easier. Because I don't like thinking about it now. If we didn't come with her car, we would be struggling. Because it took me a couple months to finally even get my own car. So, yeah, that move was huge. You know, you miss family here and there, but at the same time, it's like I like my peace also. So,
How
relocating.
long was the drive?
Um, the drive was like at least 2 days, maybe. We kept stopping in between. I mean, we were driving through the Midwest. As you can imagine, the Midwest is, no offense to people, but it's just it's the scenery is not like something that you're like, oh yeah.
We're not gonna do that to the Midwest, okay? We're not doing that to the
Facts.
Midwest. No
No
slander, okay?
disrespect.
Because I'm from the
No
Midwest.
But I mean, driving through like states like Nebraska and stuff where it's just cornfields is like
Well,
kind of
that's what
hard.
they're known for.
And then some of the spots that we stopped at, it was also even harder because it was just like, wow, like, yeah. But anyways, yeah, it took us about 2 days to get to California, but it was good. It was good.
Okay. Demarcus, where did you move to and from where?
Yeah, I moved to New York, specifically Brooklyn, from Kentucky, and kind of just how like my moving process was when I graduated college. I always wanted to be in a bigger city. Um, I didn't know exactly like what city that would be, and so I had a couple of friends that actually moved to New York upon graduation because I took an extra year of college. And I came up to New York to visit them. One stayed in Roosevelt Island, the other stayed in Hell's Kitchen,
Yes.
and then just the atmosphere that I was able to experience from being here. I was like, man, there's just so much stuff to do. There's a lot of opportunities, and for me, I just want to be in a place where there is really just a lot to do. Because where I come from my town specifically, but also just in Kentucky in general, there's just not as much opportunities, or just like social environment. So um, when I got a chance to visit them and just seeing everything, I was like, this is the place where I can see myself being. And so was going to move because of a job before the pandemic happened. Obviously the pandemic happened, and then me and my friends we still talked about moving, and so we did it. We finalized like wanting to move like early last year around May, and we made that move in August.
Okay, that was 4 months. That was quick. I'm glad to see responsible young men now here. Um, you kind of went quickly, but we're gonna go a little back. So I like
Okay.
that you said that you did a scouting trip basically, but your friends was already there, so that was kind of cool. I
Mhm.
feel like that was kind of like a smoother transition. But Kat, I wanted to ask you because I know that you moved to California. I don't think you ever been to that city before, right? You never visited. So like, what was the leap of faith, or like, what made you want to take that leap of faith, honestly, to go to California?
Yeah, it was for a job, but it's kind of similar to what Demarcus said. There was really no opportunities in where I was staying at in upstate New York, and I think at that point it was like after the pandemic, and I just saw how like crazy it was after graduating, and I had a master's degree and I wasn't making anything. I was like,
Mm-hmm.
this can't be life. Like there has to be, there has to be, something has to give. There has to be better. And so when I started doing research, um, an opportunity to do a travel OT position happened. And I was like, you know what, I'm just going to do it. I want to get out of here. And I think that was it. Just needing to leave the city that I, pretty much grew up with and needed to change. Now, where I moved to was a big change. Because what the heck is in Tracy, California? No offense. And people who are from there, they will say the same thing. Trust me. Um, but I think also what really helped is having someone with me. So like I said, I went with my former classmate. I wasn't doing it alone. I think if I did it alone, I would probably be like losing my mind. But I had a classmate, so we got to experience everything together.
So how did that work? So like you applied for it and she applied for it or something like that, and y'all was like, okay, we're gonna move together. Like y'all got the same job or something?
Yeah, we got the same job. So she actually got the job first. And then she found out they were looking for another OT. And so I applied. For me, like I said, I was kind of just done with the last people I was working with. I was like, I need a change. And so when she told me that, I mean, it really happened out of the blue. I'm being 100% honest here. It happened out of the blue. I mean, I kept telling myself that I was going to leave, where I'm from, Buffalo. But it just came and it fell on my lap, and I was like, I'm gonna jump on it. I don't know what another opportunity is gonna be like that, where I could go with someone and actually have something I can fall back on. So
Okay, okay. So that's good. So y'all talked about why y'all moved, like more opportunity and stuff like that. I know, Kat, you've been out there for like almost 2 years, right?
yeah,
Demarcus,
it's
you've been
like
out there for like a year.
yeah,
Yeah, like a year and like 3 months.
almost 3 years.
Yeah. So do y'all feel like the reason y'all moved has worked out?
Marcus, do you want to go?
But yeah, I can. Yeah, I feel like it has in tremendous ways. I mean, specifically, like, I can guess you can talk about like different categories. I mean, socially, it's been very, very dope. The area that I'm in particular, you just meet like a lot of people in like similar spaces, like the tech space.
Mm-hmm.
Brooklyn is kind of an area where like a lot of black folks have maneuvered to compared to like previously. You have a lot of people in Harlem, some people have moved throughout like Manhattan, but like a lot of black folks and stuff are in the Brooklyn area. Also, just as far as just get out of your comfort zone because coming to a different environment, it's different than college. When you go to college, everybody's like,
I wonder if he got.
Everybody's what?
He's probably getting a call.
I'm so
oh,
annoyed.
I was,
What happened? Hello?
I don't know, for some reason, like it cuts. I don't know if it cuts the screen out, it just stops going. Can you hear me now?
I can't. Oh, I'm gonna have to
Okay,
edit. Yes.
okay.
Sorry.
Um,
Start
what I
over.
what I was saying is that typically like in college you have different focuses and stuff like that.
Hmm.
And so everybody's kind of on the same page. So it's like, oh, we're just going to school here. Everybody's just, social life is a lot easier and stuff like that. But here, it's just you have to get out of your comfort zone. You have to go out and network. You have to be kind of intentional on the things that you want. And once you kind of build those things, you just realize that it just ends up being a beautiful piece. And a lot of times as well, for me being like a pretty like high level energy person, outgoing person. A lot of people, you notice that a lot of people like don't really feel as comfortable doing those things. A lot of people have social anxiety and all those other aspects. And so for me, I have just like have a personality of kind of like reeling everybody in. So it's just easier for me to build those connections.
Okay, okay. And what about you, Kat?
Um, I would definitely say it has worked out. I mean, I'm still here, and it's a lot more opportunities here for sure. And yeah, it has really worked for me. I mean, one opportunity led to another. I think like even just a turnaround that I was able to find, and I don't want to get too much into like just the field and what I do, but it's a whole different ball game here. I have a lot more responsibilities than I had when I was back home, and I feel like me being here, it allows me to grow not only as a person, but in my field as well. Where back in New York, it was very contained, and I didn't really get to, further myself.
Mm-hmm.
Professional development that everyone's like looking to improve in their field. It wasn't something that I was going to be able to do back in New
Mm-hmm.
York unless I branched out. And what I also wanted to mention was the turnover was great. I when I first came to Tracy, I was working, and then I didn't like the school or the district that I was working at, and then I was able to find something literally a week later, and
Mm-hmm.
move on to the next, and finish off the school year. And then after that, I was able to find another travel position. To now, I'm able to, work where I'm at now. So
Mm-hmm.
I just feel like California just allowed me to have just a lot of opportunities and be able to do the things that I want to do and grow as a person
Mm-hmm.
in my field.
That's interesting. Because I like yours, because yours is more like career. Like I'm moving out here. I'm doing better in my career, basically. But also, it's funny because like Demarcus moved to New York, and it's just like different states have different industries that are really great. How he says like tech is in New York, whatever. So I don't know if y'all know, but Demarcus, I think you work in tech. If you don't, oh well, my bad.
Yes.
But if you don't want the people to know, but like tech could be better in New York, which is not that it's not good in California, but like for Cat's industry, her industry is better in California. But like for Demarcus, it doesn't sound like he moved for a job. It kind of was like, didn't you have like a remote job, something like that? Like your friends up there, you liked it, so you just like, I'm gonna move here. You didn't have to look for a job, right?
Yeah, I didn't have to like search because initially my job was going to be here. Honestly, like the state the cat's in would probably be better overall from a tech standpoint, but
Mm-hmm.
I think overall you get like a mix of everything, and then in a place like New York. So yeah, my
Mm-hmm.
job initially I could be wherever I wanted to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's what I was thinking about for industries. So do you feel like y'all are adjusted to your new city? Do you feel like you build community, or do you feel like you're still adjusting?
Okay, you want to go ahead or I can?
Sure. I still feel like I'm still adjusting because I've lived in like 3 different cities now here. So I'm still trying to make my mark. I'm still trying to make my community. And even now in the city that I'm in right now, I've only lived here for like, I don't know, like maybe 4 or 5 months now. So I'm still trying to basically build things, build a community, make some friends out here, which can be really hard, especially when you're in a city where it's very small and everyone already has their cliques and stuff. So it's hard to kind of like come in and be like, hey, let me, you know what I mean? Like, hey, let me join in your friend group. It's like, we've
Mhm.
been friends for like 6 years. Hold up. We don't build trust.
Okay.
so, so that's something that I'm still, learning. I think the best thing that I have out here is that I also have family to kind of help me out and kind of um, just get acclimated to here. So it's going to take time, but I'm still adjusting and I love where I'm at right now.
Okay, Demarcus.
Yeah, Kat, that's good to hear. Yeah, I feel like I've definitely got adjusted finally. I would say first when I got here, honestly, I mean, especially where I come from, people say all the time, like, how you moved to New York? It's such a big city, just a big, area. And they just a lot of people just kind of say it in a way where it sounds intimidating. But even coming from like a small country town, like I'm a country boy at heart, but moving to the city wasn't nothing for me. I mean, it was never too big. The way I even moved when I was younger and stuff, just I moved in a city like way, especially my dad taking me to different places. But like getting to New York, I mean that's what I'm saying. The only thing that like getting to the city itself wasn't a shock. It was just like trying to, build new friends or just build different communities. And that's what took a minute for me. Because where I live, everything's kind of just right in one space. The access to do different things is just right there. So you honestly you can never say that you're bored unless you just like want to be intentional about not doing anything. But for me, just putting myself in like different networking groups. I joined the Gathering Spot, which was like a big thing for me. Just meeting different people that look like me, and then also people that are just doing great things. That was like a big lift for me, and just being able to do different events in the city. also like connecting with people in different industries, and even from friends as well. Like from my friends, they had people they had known before I had gotten here, so that was a good way to be able to at least like have like an intro to connecting with certain people and just like kind of knowing who people are. But I feel now like I've been able to like establish like a lot of connections for myself, build like a lot of like rapport, like a lot of people like know who I am, and enjoy who I am because of who I am. So
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I feel like yours could be kind of different because, like, you moved with friends, you know? Well, actually, both of y'all move with friends or coworkers, however loosely you want to use the word. Um,
yes.
Classmates. So I feel like you kind of had people already that you could hang out with. But location and proximity, that's cool too. How where you living at, you were kind of close to different things. And then Kat, I like that too. Like you sometimes going to a new city, like you gotta, move around and you gotta try to like find the city and stuff like that. So dealing with that and knowing that y'all are like away from y'all family though, do you feel like y'all have felt like lonely a lot, or do y'all feel like it's cool because y'all still have people there, or do you feel like sometimes you still feel alone because you're like out in these cities by yourself?
Um, I can go. Um,
Hmm.
as far as feeling lonely, I mean, there's always like times because whenever you like initially, whenever you're like what far away from like your close friends, like my closest friends, at one point when I was in college, my like fifth year, they had all moved away, so everybody was just kind of like in their own spaces, and I would say the type of guy that I am. I just hang with like different types of crowds. Just like even just being in the creative space, like I'm just a lot different. And even for like my friends that I live with, like my some of my closest friends, but I never had a chance to really be in the same vicinity with them for like a extended period of time. So also what I'm saying is like even when they would like bring people and I'd meet people and stuff like that, those were initially like some of my crowd. So um in a sense, we were all kind of here for like our separate purposes, and everybody has their own individual things that they do on a daily basis and work. So really being social, like we would go out and stuff like that, but I really had to kind of find my own perspective or like my own things that I like because I don't like to just do everything that everybody else wants to do. And so that took like a while. Really I would say
Hmm.
until this summer that just passed, like is when I really just like the light bulb kind of flicked on.
Okay, because you was lit. Okay.
Yeah,
New
we was
York
turned up for sure.
summers. Okay, okay.
Yeah, we was turned.
What about you, Kat?
Yeah, no, I mean, I agree with him. I mean, whenever you're coming into a new city and you don't have, a support system there, you're going to feel lonely here and there. But I think what helps me is that I put myself out there
Hmm.
and I try to go to these events even if I don't want to by myself. I still do it because that puts me in those places and I'm able to meet people. And so, even like I do mention that, it can be hard to make friends out here, but I've been able to meet people who already have friends that are established here who are also looking for the same thing. And we all go do different events here and there. So that's, going out is a good way, but also like signing up for like different, like, I don't know, intramural sports or like, I think just like what, Demarcus said, like the gathering spot. I think that's great. Like, I feel like I want to hear more about it because it's like you get to meet people who are on the same mindset as you, and that's a way for you to network and make friends there. So, even though it could sometimes feel like you're alone, you might feel lonely, in a new place. There's still opportunities out there to make friends and to get out of that space. So.
Hmm. And also, I wanted to talk with y'all because I feel like me as well. Like I moved down with a roommate. I feel like nowadays everybody's like, "Oh, I gotta do by myself. I gotta do by myself." Da da da. Da. Like you need to do this. You need to. Or like there's this thing like, okay, you graduated. Like you have a job. Like you should live on your own. Like I don't know if people look down on it or like people try to say, like, I live on my own. Like I don't live with people. Da da da. Da. They feel like roommates are like a bad thing. Did y'all have any of that thinking, like when y'all was moving with the people? Are you like, oh, moving with a roommate was fine? Like, of course, you might want your own in general, but like, did y'all have any of those thoughts that people might think like, oh, they're living with a roommate?
Mm,
No.
I I mean, I typically really don't care what other people got to say. So it's
Right.
just like, I'm in my own situation, and a lot of times I just feel like, um, and I feel like, both of you all are like this as well too. But I feel like we're people that, in a sense, we kind of just do what's on our hearts, and then we impact other people to do that. I mean, I just know so many people that just can't make decisions because they're so afraid, and because other people are, other people are in their ear doing, and I'm just like, I'm the total opposite. Like when I first, I mean, for me moving, I said, like, damn, I would definitely like a place for myself. I even, say that sometimes now because for me, I am like a true ambivert. Like, I love being extroverted and being outside, but I also love time to myself. So, um, for me, if I'm in a place by myself, I'm going to be able to find those groups of people that I want to do things with on certain days. So, um, like having roommates, it's been super, super dope. Don't get me wrong, but also too, I do think like, hey, it would be cool to have, like your own spot and stuff like that. But um, at the same time, it just depends on how you can look at it. Because I think some people are so caught up on like, hey, I want to be like an entrepreneur, I want to just be in my own space, but there's perks to like having other people around until you're able to get established. Like rent can be lower. If issues
Okay.
go on at the crib, like you have people to kind of follow up on. So I just don't think there's like no reason to rush it. Because then there's so many people as well too that want to have the independence, but they don't do the back end work, and then they end up feeling lonely because they never built the networks and stuff that they needed. They weren't prepared before they got into it.
Yeah. No,
Hmm.
I agree. Like that's why I said no in the beginning. It's like
Yeah, it's like no, I do not
fair
care.
because like you don't know my goal, you don't know what I'm trying to achieve, you don't know you don't know what's going on and what I'm doing. So
Mhm.
Mhm.
it really does not matter. Everyone knows their path and what they're gonna do. So yeah, to be honest, yeah, I don't care. I'm just here for the vibes. But I would say though, I do love, my own space. I agree with Demarcus, like that ambivert. I'm the same way. Like, when you're able to have your own space, you can just do things the way you want to. And sometimes I'm a homebody. So um, I love that I don't have someone telling me like, oh, let's go out, let's do this, blah, blah.
Yeah, right.
Mhm.
That's just me. That's me because, you know, whatever. But yeah, I'm just here for the vibes.
The
Girl, the
vibe, that's it.
vibes.
The the vibe, that's it right there.
But yeah, that's true. Because I'm like,
Here for a good time
definitely.
and a long time.
Definitely you can like save money, like say like living with people and stuff like that. And I guess I wasn't really talking about people per se, but I guess I was talking about within society, like society is almost like, oh no, you get a job, then you move out your parents' house and then you go. That's what I was talking about, not per se like someone is literally talking about like, oh, you're living with a roommate because
I can
it's
speak on that.
expensive, very much it's expensive. Like one bedrooms, we know two bedrooms and like inflation and stuff like that. So that's what I was kind of more or less talking about, but
I can
definitely
speak on that though too.
on what?
Same.
Like the piece about like you said, as far as like living with your parents and stuff, and kind of like taking the time. I
Hmm.
think that I think that's the thing as well too. It's like you got to be able to figure out a way. People have to figure out a way to at least explore what they want. Like, I get the whole piece of like saving money and being able to, afford certain things, but people do it and don't even have a plan. It's like, okay, I'm staying in my parents' crib, but you're just getting to a point where you're just staying there and you got this money, but then you're in the same environment you were before, and now you don't feel like you can get out. And you got the money, but you don't want to make a move. Or then you're so paranoid about making a move because you don't know if things are going to work. Like you have to make a jump at some point if those are things that you want to do. And at the same time, it's like things can get better when you're in that environment. You just have to get into it. Like when I first got to New York, I wasn't really making much money. Like I had like a decent base salary, but I wasn't even making commission at my last job. So, like long term, that was not going to be able to really kind of suffice in the sense the lifestyle that I would have wanted for myself. But by pushing through and continuing just to stay like on pace and doing like my due diligence on the back end, then now I was able to get like like a way better job that was able to really help fund those things that I needed and just make like the it really was a big change in my situation. So ultimately, I think when you're making these moves, like so many people get caught up on, or they'll kind of throw like jabs. They'll be like, "Oh, it's so expensive," or you could save such and such money, but there's money you can save in anything. Like just because you live in an environment like this doesn't mean you can't save, and doesn't mean that you can't get to your goals quicker than if you were in an environment that was less expensive. So I don't like when people say that because it's kind of like it's like a jab that some people try to throw, but it's like I'm out here living my best life at the same time, and I'm still saving money. So I don't understand like the correlation.
Oh. Yeah, you're talking about people like, oh, like New York is so expensive or something like that.
Yeah, I mean
Hmm.
stuff's gonna be expensive everywhere. Like in New York, I could pay 1,500 a person for rent. Yeah, it's expensive, but at the same time, it's like okay, am I gonna go back home and pay 1,200 or so for a like a one bedroom, full studio or whatever. But look, I don't have anything around me. I'm around the same people. Not much is going on. You know what I'm saying? Even as far as job environment, there's just not much to look forward to. So I'd rather pay a little bit more to get everything that I want, in a sense to pay, you know, close to the same amount and not get even close to as much as I want.
That's a good perspective. I like that perspective.
Yeah, I do too. Um,
Hmm.
I think for me, like moving out here, I know I talk about like my career and all that stuff and professional development, but most importantly, it's just that self exploration that I've been able to tap into because
Mm-hmm.
I was living with my parents. Now, don't get me wrong, I did have a plan before I came out here, which I think it's really huge. You know, save your money and finances and all that stuff. But when I lived with my parents, I didn't really like, and I come from a very cultural background. So the my mindset was driven by what my parents were telling me. And it didn't really allow me to, figure out, or like, didn't even have the sense of self identity. And so moving out here and being taught all these lessons and having to do things on my own and having to speak up and I really got to explore who Catherine really was. And I think everyone needs that because when you are stagnant and you're in one place, it's going to be hard to tap into that unless you move out from where you are at and experience actual real life challenges that are going to build you up. So as much as I'll complain and be like, oh my god, California is expensive, I would do it 10 times again because I feel like I'm a way much better person now than I was before. So
I like that.
I
What
like
like
it too.
I feel like we all have this in common that like we all like left from our parents' house, you know? So like I feel like that's another thing too. That's a different thing as well. Um and thinking about coming from your parents' house and like you have that time to actually save and stuff like that. Was there any times that I thought about like moving back home or was just like, no, I'm gonna stay out here and I'm gonna just thug it out basically where I'm at?
I'm thugging it out.
I know.
Stuck it out. The times
Yes.
I thought
I'm
about it,
thugging
but
it out.
Without, I know y'all don't like to talk about money, so I'm not gonna ask y'all like how
no,
much
we
y'all
we,
save,
we enjoy talking about
but
money.
well, Cat don't like talking about money. I tell
Not
her
my
this.
money, but we talk about everybody else's.
Yeah, so like, what do y'all think? Like being at your parents' house, like I don't know if y'all have to pay rent and stuff like that, but how much do you think someone should save if they're living at the parents' house right now? And they're thinking like, oh, I can't do it, I can't make it. What do you think a ballpark savings range they should be saving for, like living in their parents' house to make that move?
I don't know. I feel like that's so hard because every state is so different. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like really hard for me. But I mean, if I have to make an estimate, ugh, man, I don't even know. Like it has to be like somewhere around 10K to 15K.
To save for them to move
Yeah,
out.
to
Yeah.
save to move out. If you are saving to move out to move to a state, especially like California, you need that kind of money. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
flat out rent where I'm living in it. Even I mean, where I choose to live in is expensive, but even places that would be you would consider not to be the best place or whatever, it's still expensive. It's easily 1,800, close to 2,200.
Mm-hmm.
And these are apartments with honey, there's no steel appliances, okay? These are white appliances. You know, you're not
Okay.
getting that's the best, and
Mm-hmm.
you're paying top
Top
notch.
dollar.
And even if you had a roommate, depending on where you're living, you're still looking at around 1,500 to 1,800.
A
So
person. Oh, child.
exactly, and that's with a roommate. Unless you're living with a whole bunch of people in this
Mm-hmm.
big place, then that's another story. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, if I and you're not even looking into the fact that are you bringing a car? Do you have a car? Do you not have a car?
Mm-hmm.
How are you even getting there? You know
Yeah, that's true. Oh, yeah,
how?
because in California, you need a car, I feel like. In New York, I feel like, depending on where you stay.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It really depends on which state you're going to.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Well, for California, the 10 to 15. Okay, period.
yeah, I mean, to get from one
Demarcus.
state to another, it's like you need a car. I
And
mean, even
what?
for my job, I need a car. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so around maybe 10 to 15K.
Demarcus, what do you think for New York?
Um, I would say, I mean, depending on like kind of pretty much similar to like what Kat said. I mean, I would say, 10K would be if you could save like, I mean, really even I would say between like 6 to 10 is a good
Mm-hmm.
range because, um, I mean, even when I came, like I didn't really have as much saved, so I kind of had like to maneuver around. But if your rent's 1,500, um, like mine, and then you had to pay a deposit on top of that, which is like the
Mm-hmm.
rent times two. So
Mm-hmm.
there's like 3K there. So that's all you really need as far as like from that aspect. Or obviously if your rent's higher, you're gonna have to kind of like you wanna whatever your rent is, you wanna at
You
least
want to
have that
double that.
at
Mm-hmm.
least doubled for getting in. And then I would say probably like just to get yourself like kind of acquainted in your space, I would say like another 1,000 or 1,500. So like kind of like 6K, something around that range, 6, 7 to be able to get yourself settled in. And then anything else would kind of be like a good start if you want to start like going out and
Mm-hmm.
start doing other things. So
Yeah, that's true. And so, what is the
Can I just add one part? So the reason
mhm.
why 10 to 15K is with the assumption that you might not have like an actual job
job?
or you're
That's
Yeah.
good.
waiting for
Hmm.
something.
And that
Because
was
I know
one
there's
thing
people
too.
that, there are people who do that, you know what I mean? But I still think it's still pertinent to what I was saying. That's
Yeah,
still something that you need.
because even when you have a job, it's like when you start the job, shoot, or when are you gonna get paid? So just
It
to have like a
takes
little
time.
buffer. I
I mean,
like
That's
that.
true.
for my job, it took me like a whole month to finally get paid.
Yeah, it
So
does.
you know what I mean? So
Mhm.
that's me already moving into my apartment for a whole
Mhm.
month and then having to wait another full month to get.
Mhm.
And then if you have your rent is super high, we're talking about like 5K already.
Mhm.
2 months in.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a
It's
really good point.
Mhm.
that
Mhm.
stuff. So it's with the expectation
Cat is like
that
they
you
heard ten
might
to
not have a
fifteen
job
k.
yet.
Let me clear it up.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, no, it's with the expectation that you might not have a job, or if you have a job and you're still waiting to get paid, depending
Mhm.
on the job you're working. So I know that's the fact for like most state jobs. It takes a while for you to get paid.
Yeah, it takes a whole month for
That first
real.
paycheck, at least.
Really. Um, Demarcus, what is like the range? I mean, I don't know what your apartment is. I know you have there's different apartments, but what do you feel like the range is for like a one bedroom? We shouldn't do a one bedroom because people have roommates in New York. Maybe like a two bedroom, something like that. What do you feel like the range is for apartments in New York, Brooklyn area?
I would say, like my situation, we found like we found kind of a steal. I mean, I would say anywhere between like four roommates, it's gonna
Mhm.
be between like 1,200 to 1,500. We have a unique situation because we actually got it's four of us. We got two bathrooms, so you don't
Mhm.
typically find that. Um, and Kat may be able to attest to this as well because she actually like lived in like Upper New York, but I feel like prices are kind of like crazy everywhere. But two people, I mean, you're probably looking at like maybe I don't know 2K, 1,800 to 2K, and then for one person, depending on the spot, I mean 1,800 to 3K.
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
know people that pay like high dollars for that too.
Yeah, I was gonna say when I moved to Atlanta. Okay, so y'all moved to Atlanta. I didn't move to the New Yorks and the Californias, but I would say you need like 3 to 5K. When I moved back in the pandemic, no, it was 2020, so it was kind of cheaper. Now I would definitely say like 3 to 5K because now rent is looking like 1,500 for a 1 bedroom, all the way up to 2,000, and like 2 bedrooms are starting at like 2,000 and stuff like that. So I definitely think it's best to like save your money. I'm gonna say I saved a little bit of money, but I didn't save that much money with my parents because unlike the other people on the call, I didn't have a job. So I didn't get to save anything. So I kind of regret that kind of. But well, I don't regret it because I didn't have no job, so I couldn't save anything. But I wish I was able to save more money than I did get to save. So speaking on that, what do y'all think the most important factor is when it comes to moving? Anybody can answer 1st.
I'm trying to think.
Yeah, same. I feel like it's so hard to know what's the most important one because I feel like there's so many factors that are at play.
mm,
You know,
I
because
would
like
say the most important factor is to, I mean, well, one of them, because like Kat said, one of them is to um, make sure that you value yourself first. And the reason why I say that is because you can move anywhere, you can do anything, but if you have low self esteem, if you don't even find any value in yourself, you're going to try to find it in bigger areas and try to do all this stuff and pay all this money. I know a lot of people that do it to try to fill a void that can be just filled before you, like, some that's something you have to feel within yourself. Like spending money and doing all this other stuff, it's just not going to be able to do that. So I think
That
just knowing, realizing who you are is big.
that was very deep.
what
Hey,
I wasn't even thinking of that. Like that's a really good perspective to add in. You know, because most of us are thinking, well, the money,
I know,
obviously.
like cost, like do I
You
have
know,
a
like
job? And he's like, know yourself. Ooh.
that
I
is real. Like,
in my mind, I was like, oh, you need the money. Finance is big, but I definitely agree with you. Like it is, knowing who you are as a person, for
Mhm.
sure.
yeah,
And I feel
I
like that
mean,
goes back to like, why are you moving? Like, know why you're moving.
Yeah, what's the plan?
Hmm.
yeah, I mean, there's just so many people, and I mean, it's just sad with our generation. Not to go like too deep into it, but so many people just they get these higher paying jobs, and I mean, it's just people are just like in a sense lame. You know what I'm saying? Like they're
Oh,
not they have nothing to them before they get money, before they get a part of certain things, and then they try to use that. And some people get cocky, some people just get arrogant, and some people just think that they're better than others. But a lot of times, these people are so insecure on the inside that it just may not show. But when they go back home, they're some of the most lonely people, and I've seen it from so many different areas. Um, Even for people I don't even like personally know, just stories that I've heard and just seen on social media. And a lot of people try to find it, but long term, it just doesn't add up. So you have to be able to know who you are because you can go into certain rooms and you can get clouded by all these images that everybody else is kind of trying to portray. But if you're
hmm
yourself, like people are going to gravitate towards that more than people know. So that's just from experience.
hmm Okay.
Definitely agree. I love that you put a little twist to it. But I think for me is knowing exactly the city that you're going into. Um,
hmm
because when I moved to Tracy, I didn't know anything about Tracy. Like I said,
hmm
I'm so thankful that I was going there with someone because no shade to Tracy, but Tracy is like a very suburban place. So, me, I'm a young person. I want to be out. I want to go and meet other people. I want to, go where the music is at. I want to dance. I want to do all this stuff. I want to be out. You know what I mean? So,
hmm
when I was in Tracy, I wasn't able to do any of that. Granted that it was the pandemic, but still, like all those stuff weren't accessible. And so
hmm
you have to, even if you are taking these high paying jobs, like you need to know the city you're going to. And is it going to be, like, is it going to add any value to your quality of life?
hmm
Mhm.
Being in Tracy, it didn't. And so now I'm here and I'm living in Oakland, if I want to go out one day, I can go out and it's only like 10 minutes away or 5 minutes away. I don't even have to think about the commute. And commute always adds on to your mental health. And the only reason why I say that is because I was living an hour away from the job that I was working, and I had to drive 2 hours back, not 2 hours, sorry, back and forth 2 hour commute. And it was weighing down on my mental health, even though I was making, good money. And
hmm
so it's so important to know the place that you're moving into and if it's going to match up with your personality and what you're looking for.
I love that. So is your
That's a
commute
great point.
shorter now?
How?
Is your commute shorter now?
My commute is short. When I tell you, like, if I mean, if I want to go out and it's like 8 o'clock, I can go and like get ready and be quick and be out the house at an hour or two. Even if it's, I can even stretch it. Where before, when I used to live an hour away from where everybody's at, I would have to plan my whole day.
You
Be
really
an
do.
hour there and an hour back, and then
Mhm.
I would have to also know that I wouldn't be going out every week because I'll get tired.
Yeah,
I'm
you get tired
already
of driving and all that
already
stuff. Yeah,
driving
you really
every
do.
day to work, and then to add that on to my weekend, nah.
Yeah, like no. And I think that's a really great point too. And so I guess I didn't do enough research, but also things change after pandemic. I know that now that like I value quality of life. Like I'm sorry, I love the poppin'. Well, I don't even know if I love the poppin' cities, but like I don't really value popping cities, high rent for
Mm-hmm.
vibes. I'm sorry. Like I value quality of life. Like I want to be able to afford, I want to be able to save, and I want to be able to travel. And when you go to those popping cities, you always can't get that because you're paying so much in rent, paying so much in this. So I'm like, I value a nice quality of life. I want to be able to spend my money and be able to, like enjoy what I have and enjoy what I want. So that's something else that I feel like is something very important to think about. Like, will your quality of life get better? Like, okay, if you make six figures in New York or something like that or California, but are you still going like you're making six figures because it's so expensive, you know? So it's like, are you still going to be able to have that quality of life that you want? Or do you want to make a little less than six figures and go to another city that you can maybe like buy a house so you're not spending all that money on an apartment. So I think that that is something to think about as well when you're relocating.
I like that.
Yeah, yeah. So that's what I've been thinking about too. I'm like, ooh, I kind of value my quality of life. Like, I like to save money. Like, I do like to see the girls, but like, I like to travel. So I don't want to spend all my money at the club every weekend. Like, no, thank you. No,
Yeah,
thank
that's just not. I
you.
got the pedestal where it's like if I want to go out, it's because it's celebrating people or celebrating an
Mhm.
occasion. Like it's not fun just going out all the time and just for no reason. Like
Yeah, and then you waste money and then the experiences be horrible, but also knowing that, like, I want to do other things with my money, like, I create content, like, I wanna be able to buy different things for content, I gotta go to events, you gotta use money for that, so it's, like, just seeing, like, where your money is going to go. If you like to read books, you might wanna buy some books, but, like, it might be expensive, so just knowing, like, what you like to do and figuring out how to make your life the best for wherever you're going to move to. So I think that that is really great. As we are wrapping up, I do have a last question for y'all. Um, do y'all have any relocation advice or any tips for people who might be relocating for a job or to chase their dreams or anything like that? Anybody can go.
Just take that risk. I think that's kind of like the overall theme. Like, take the risk, but it has to be like a calculated risk, right? You're not just doing it because just doing it, but there has to be like a plan behind it. But it's
Hmm.
you'll never know unless you do it. So, like I mean, I mentioned throughout the whole our episode that I learned so much about myself, and I needed that move. And I think people would be surprised how much they'll learn about themselves if they do move. Just make sure your finances is on check. Make sure you have that plan. Scope out the city, like Demarcus did.
Hmm.
Definitely scope up the city. But yeah, definitely take that risk. That's kind of like my big thing.
Okay.
yeah, I would say just enjoying the time. I mean, especially being in your 20s, it's a time to like make mistakes and stuff. Um, there's nothing wrong with partying and going out to to club and to going out and date and stuff and all that on that aspect, but also to like networking and um, being able to just to try like different projects or try to connect with different types of people. Like it's a perfect time to do it. So be open about that and really just enjoy the experience. It shouldn't always be like a burden or a headache.
Okay, okay. Yes. Well, we love that. And I want to thank you all for joining this episode. And Thank y'all for joining this episode. And if you have not, make sure to check out the other episodes as well. I do have a free relocation expense tracker. The link is in the description. And you can also book a consultation. Do y'all have anything y'all want to share, or do y'all want them to follow y'all, or y'all just y'all good? Y'all got anything promote? Y'all got to promote anything? I know y'all content creators.
Um, yeah, y'all can follow me Instagram, that man Marco, Marco's Mashups for Life Inc. Same thing on TikTok, and then my YouTube is mashing up with Marco.
Okay, we're gonna get some new content on Mashing Up with Marco.
Yeah, stay
Okay.
tuned.
Okay, period. Kat, you got some content? Kat been laying low on the content.
I've been pretty low key, just trying to figure out life. But my Instagram is catching money, and it's the same with TikTok. So stay tuned. There's going to be new content coming in very, very soon. So I know I've been saying that for a while, but I've now found some really good stability. So
Yeah, but no, I want to like no, gotta give grace. So not to keep the conversation going so long, but that was me. Like I'm like when I relocated, like I was working two jobs. I was doing this, so it's kind of like you got to kind of find that balance to like bring it back in to get adjusted, because you're so focused on work, you're so focused on this, and like you kind of just want to relax. Like you kind of got to get back into the groove of going back and creating content. You
yeah,
got to take breaks. You got to be able to figure out and find creativity. Like when so much is going on, bills, work, trying to pay for this and this and that. Like it's just a lot. So it's like you can take a break. You can have grace, and
hmm
just come back when you're ready. You know what I'm saying?
And
Because this
I'm gonna say
podcast
this
has
too.
not been going for like 4 or 5 months. You know how to take a break.
I love Kat's YouTube videos too. Like what she
hmm
was doing, like it was just like pause. And at least you have dope. Like I love your YouTube videos as well.
Done. Now, don't be
Um,
trying to do it after that one. Now that's looking like a little shady. You know what I'm saying?
what you mean? I'm saying it because Kat, she ain't really did YouTube in like a couple years,
I
but
mean,
I
she does.
really
Her
did
money,
some
like
fire videos.
She does like money videos. I'm thinking about doing. I started actually a money YouTube channel, but I want people to find it, so I'm not sharing it. So I want trying to just
I
grow
love
that
that.
one.
I like her
Yeah, so
dry humor.
excited. You said what?
I like
Follow
her
the
dry humor.
follow the podcast.
You
Follow
said
it.
you like the dry humor.
Yeah, I said I love her dry humor.
Oh, cats, yes. um,
No, but
yes.
I just wanted to say, like, everyone follow the podcast. Listen to
Yes.
all the other episodes from
Oh, yes.
the
Thanks.
beginning. Like, this podcast is amazing. And
Thanks so much. She was
learn,
on a co-host for
learn
some
so
money. It was like season 4, right? This is season 7, y'all. I don't know how many more other seasons I'm gonna do, but this is season 7. And
you still put it through and continue to give people these good
so
stuff. Don't.
I'm trying. So we're gonna keep going. We're gonna see how long I'm gonna do it till I have a new venture. But yes, make sure y'all share this with y'all friends. Make sure y'all subscribe and stay tuned for the next episode. If y'all have questions, let us know and hit them up. Follow their content. We are all Black content creators out here just trying to make it okay. So listen to it and watch our content. Thanks so much. Whenever you're listening to this, have a great night, day, or morning. Bye.
Peace.